backpacking in Bridger Wilderness. Brandon was 7. He was a bigger kid for 7, of course, but he was a pretty good sized kid. And in our neighborhood, the scouts decided to go on a backpacking trip. I believe we went up for 3 or 4 or 5 days, something like that, to the Bridger Wilderness up in Wyoming. So anyway, we all got packed. I thought that'd be really neat to bring my son backpacking. So anyway, I got him a backpack ready, and I got a backpack ready. Now, my backpack was 80 pounds, 70 or 80 pounds. And his backpack, I believe, was 20 or 30 pounds. I tried to pack him as light as I could, but it was still heavy. We got up there. We were real excited. It was on a Monday morning. We drove up on a Monday morning. We got there and got everything packed. There was probably 6 to 10 people in the group. I don't recall the number of people. But anyway, I put my gun on my hip. I had a 22 pistol that I wore, and I had a 60. I think it was a 60. Was it a 60-pound pack? It was a 60-pound pack, and Brandon's was 20, I believe, a 20-pound pack. I believe that's right. That's what it was. Anyway, so we get all packed, get ready to go, and me and Brandon start walking, and he's doing pretty good along the flat trails, and he's just he's 7 years old. I'm thinking he's going to be fine to pack this 20-pound pack. I thought worst case scenario, I'll bring a small rope if I have to pack his backpack for a while because it has his sleeping bag and things in it. I'll go ahead and strap it on my back and tie it on with the rope. Anyway, so we're walking and the other group is walking and everything's going good, and pretty soon they kind of meander around. We get ahead of them. Well, Brandon keeps tripping. He's got this new weight on him, and so as he steps over little sticks and branches and rocks on the trail, he falls. And so he kept doing duck dives. He'd be walking along, boom, duck dive, walking along, boom, duck dive. And finally I thought, I better carry his pack because if I don't, he might get hurt. And it was a 7-mile, I believe it was a 7 to 8 mile trip to this place. Maybe it was 10, but I think it was more like 7, but it was horrible. So at the bottom it was sort of rolling and flat along the river banks. But then as it got towards the mountain where we have to go up to this place, I don't remember the name of the lake, but it was up in the Bridger Wilderness in Wyoming. As we were walking, we started going up the hill, and I was carrying his pack at this time now. Now I have an 80-pound pack on my back, and I'm a roofer, I'm strong, I'm healthy, and I've had cancer, so my shoulder's a little bit of an issue. I'm kind of concerned about my back, but I'm doing pretty good. But we just better get the backpack on. About half an hour later, roughly, there's these 2 guys coming down the trail. And it was a man, he was probably in his 50s, roughly. He stops me, he says, "I need your help." And I'm thinking, stranger danger. I got my gun on my hip, I got my backpack, stranger danger. He goes, "I need your help." I go, "Well, what do you need?" He says, "I just need your help." I says, "Well, help with what?" He says, "There's been an accident up at this lake that we're going to. I don't remember the name of it. Anyway, there's been an accident up there. And I need you to go up and I need you to go help this guy that's up there." I'm like, "Okay, sounds good." I says, "What's happened?" "Well, there's a man that's been hurt." I says, "How bad has he been hurt?" And he says, "Well, I need to go get the sheriff. He's been hurt fairly bad." And what I didn't realize is this man had the son of the man that was hurt. So the son was walking down the trail with the man that was just happened to be hiking through the area and was helping these other 2 gentlemen up there at the lake. I says, "How bad is he hurt?" And he was trying to find the words to tell me without telling the son what was wrong, but he says, "He's deceased." And I says, "What happened?" He goes, "Well, there was an accident. There was a tree I guess there was a tree they were cutting down, something about a tree. I thought they were cutting down a tree and the tree fell and hit the guy or something to that effect. I didn't really understood it, or I didn't understand what was going on." I thought, man, is there some crime going on here? I didn't know what was going on, but there again, stranger danger. I'm like, okay, how can I help you? And he says, "I'm going to go get the sheriff with this guy right here," which is his son. I think he might have even told him it was his son. But anyway, and then there was another man up there with the man who had been hurt. So I said to Brown, I says, "Well, we got to go help somebody. There's a man that's been hurt." And I knew at this point that he was deceased. And I'm thinking, has there been a murder going on up here? I had no idea. And as we're walking up the trail, I'm ahead of all the other scouts. Me and Brandon are ahead of all the other scouts. Brandon's walking with me in front of me because he hasn't got a backpack It's all I can do to go up this trail. And Brandon kept turning around and facing me, walking backwards. And he would go, "Come on, Dad, you can do it, Dad. Come on, Dad, you can do it, Dad. Come on, Dad, you can do it." And I was so exhausted. It was horrible. An 80-pound pack, it was horrible. And that's not a lie. That's 60 pounds my pack, 20 pounds his pack. That's like almost like a roofing tar plug. Almost 100 pounds I was carrying up that hill. 7 mile. Well, it was probably 5 miles, 4 miles to 5 miles that I had to carry that. And I says, "Brandon, we're going to have a prayer. I don't know what to do, but I don't have this. I'm having a hard time carrying all this stuff, and I know we need to go help this person." And my gun was a 357 Magnum as well. It wasn't a 22. It was my 357 Magnum. But anyway, so he says, well, so we had a prayer, and that seemed to help. And he kept encouraging me, and I just kept walking one foot in front of the other, kept going up those switchbacks, kept going up and up and up and up. Finally, we got up there to where it flattened off, and then we walked another maybe a mile or a half mile, and eventually I got to a camping spot by this lake that this guy explained to me. This is the lake. Of course, there's little signs that say this is the lake and so forth. So we were there at the lake, and the guy said to me down there, he goes, "Look across the lake and you'll see a tent, and that's where the guys are." I'm like, "Okay, the guys are just over there. Just go over there and you can help the guy. He's there with the man that's deceased." I'm like, I still didn't get what was going on. Anyway, so we get there, and I see this guy across the lake, and there's a tent, and he's just walking around by the tent, and I'm like, that's weird. And I tried to wave at him and everything, nothing. So eventually, I think I shot my gun, boom, to get his attention, and he looked over at me, and I waved at him. He waved at me like this, and that was it. That was it. He waved at me and then went back to what he was doing. Then he disappeared. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I took my gun, and I had to take some medicine, my arthritis medicine, because I was so sore. And I took Brandon, and I says, "Walk with me. Let's walk around." Now, it wasn't just right around a little tiny lake. It took us probably 20 minutes at least walking around the edge of the lake to get to that tent clear over there. And the guy that told me on the trail, he says, "They're by that tent, just up from the tent, there's a river, and that's where they're at, or a stream." I said, "Okay, that's fine." So we get over there, and there's no man there at the tent. And I'm like, what is going on here, Brandon? I'm getting really cautious. I want to make sure my son is protected and that everything's okay. So we see there's a like creek, this real steep, maybe it was about 10 feet across, 12 feet across, this creek. It was really steep and just running like a torrent. And as I went over to it, I thought, okay, the guy said that it's up this creek. So we started walking up the creek and walking up the trail and through the rough brush and so forth up that creek to see what was going on. And as I got up there, I could see this man sitting up on this big giant boulder that had rolled off the mountain. It was just sitting up there. I thought that was weird. And then below the man, I saw a body. That was weird. Anyway, the body was uncovered. And so I said, "Brandon, you stay here." So he was down a couple hundred yards down from the man. I wanted to keep him away from the man. I says, "If there's any problem, you go back over to the camp where you'll meet with Dave, my friend that's with me in the neighborhood with the scouts." So I walked way up on the hillside, and I stayed way away from this guy. And then I yelled down to him. I says, "Do you need some help?" And he looked up at me and goes, "Yeah, I do." I thought, wow, this is still strange. Come to find out, more than likely, he was sort of in shock, in some type of shock. But anyway, as I walked down, I stayed really far away. And this guy was just sitting on this big boulder, and there was this man dead on there's this giant boulder, and this man is dead laying there. And then there's this big, huge, like giant tree that was going across the river, kind of like almost like a bridge. And I thought, where's the tree at? That this guy said there was an accident with a tree, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought they were cutting down a tree that was maybe a foot or so big, and they were cutting it down, and they got cut with a chainsaw or something. I had no idea. There again, I didn't know if this guy had murdered this other man or what. I says, "Do you need some help?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "Yeah." So I got down there. I says, "What's going on?" He goes, "My brother got killed." I'm like, "Oh, how can I help you?" I don't know. The sheriff's coming up. I go, okay. And I still didn't know what was going on. And this guy, this man, and they're from Arkansas. I says, where are you from? Arkansas. I said, he was laying down there, and I says, what is this man to you? He says, he's my brother. I'm like, oh, wow. And there was, it was kind of bloody, and he was just white and dead, and there was some blood coming out of his nose, and the flies were flying around him and stuff like that. I says, would you like me to cover him up? Because I'm sure that this man had been on that rock dead for hours, several hours. Anyway, he goes, yeah, I'd like you to cover him up. So I took his coat, or he had a coat there, and we covered the man up, his brother up. And so I still didn't know how he was killed. I said, would you, I think before we covered him up, I think I offered a priesthood blessing or a prayer. I said, would you like me to offer a prayer to our Heavenly Father or God in your behalf in this difficult moment? He says, yes, I would. So I said a prayer, a priesthood prayer, and I blessed him that things would go okay and be comforted, etc. And then I covered him up. So I said, I'm going to need to go get one of my, because I'm with a group of scouts. You just wait here. We'll I'll come back and help you. So I'm with my son. Dave is a scout leader, and he's with a group of boys. And we get over there and tell him what's going on. And I said, Dave, there's been a man killed. I don't know if he's been murdered or what over here on this rock above this camp. I didn't know if they had an argument, and they got into it, and he got killed. I had no idea. But still, it's real foggy still, right? I'm still kind of I'm nervous. And I got the feeling that this other guy, the brother that was still alive, had been in Vietnam. I says, have you been through experiences like this before? He goes, yes. I kind of got the feeling that he might have been in Vietnam or in war. I didn't know, because that's kind of how it was. But anyway, I says, Dave, I went back and told Dave, you got to go help this guy. Here's where he's at. I'm going to stay with the kids. I'm going to fix some dinner. And what else did he say? I says, just be careful. I don't know what's going on. You want my gun? No, I don't need your gun, whatever. So he went over, and he was there for an hour or so. Then he came back. And he goes, well, Bruce, you stay with the scouts tonight, and it's getting close to dark. I mean, it's getting, right close to dark. He says, I'm going to take my sleeping bag, and I'm going to go over sleep with this guy till the sheriff's department gets here. Because the man that contacted me and Brandon with the son of the guy who got killed got the sheriff, and they were coming up on their horses to help retrieve the body, and I thought kind of to do a crime scene investigation or something. Anyway, so I get all the scouts settled down, and everything's going good, and I'm sleeping in my sleeping bag, and I had gotten eaten. I was sleeping with Brandon, and I'm sleeping there. About 1 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden I hear, boom, boom, boom. I'm thinking, oh, crap. That guy killed Dave Spilker too. Killed my friend Dave. I thought, oh my heck, that guy killed him too. I wasn't, thinking the best because it was at night and I was kind of panicky and so forth and worried about the scouts and myself. But anyway, I thought, oh, I just heard these 3 shots, and I thought, no, they weren't 3 shots. It was just the fire popping or crackling. That's what I tried to go, oh, it must have just been the fire crackling. I knew it wasn't. But that's how I tried to relax myself and calm myself down. And so I went back to sleep. About 2 o'clock in the morning, I hear my tent wiggle. Bruce, 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 Bruce. Bruce, I need your help. Bruce, I need your help. And it's Dave. And I'm like, what do you need? I go, how can I help you? He goes, I need your help. I says, what's going on? I says, how's that guy doing? He goes, he's dead. I go, he's dead. I thought, son of a gun, what happened? Did he kill himself? I had no idea. I says, he's dead? The guy that you went to help is dead? He goes, no, he's alive. The other guy's dead. I go, I know the other guy's dead. Oh, okay. Anyway, I need you to make a big fire so that and I'm going to take Jason Barker's raft, and I'm going to paddle across the river because the sheriff's department is over there, and they're picking up and retrieving the body, and they need to put the body into the raft to get it back around, back across the lake, because it's real steep, cliffy country. And I'm like, okay, I will. It says, don't wake up the scouts. So we made the scouts stay in their tents, which we probably should have got them out now. But anyway, whatever. But anyway, so Dave takes the paddle and he paddles across with the light. He paddles across the lake to the tent where when I look over, I'm building the fire up, and I look over and I see all these lights like an Alfred Hitchcock movie up on top of the mountains, and there's horses with different lanterns and lights, and they're just moving throughout the cliffs and throughout the steep country of the mountainous country, and it's like, and then Dave, I can see Dave, they put the body in the body bag, and they put the body in of the man from Arkansas into the raft, and Dave's walking the raft around the edge of the lake, in the lake, pulling the raft with the man's body in it. And Dave's got this light, like a big Alfred Hitchcock light, like a lantern, and he's showing his way as he's walking across around the lake. And up above him is all these sheriff people and policemen, and they're on horses with their lights, and it looks like they're all trying to find Dave, and Dave's this haunted guy who just killed somebody, and he's walking across the lake, and they're trying to get to him, Well, anyway, that wasn't the case, of course. Dave was just bringing the body over to our camp, and all these guys on horseback. And now there must have been, it feels like there was like 3 to 5, 6 horses. I don't know. But anyway, they got over there, and they got the body and put the body up on top of the horse and strapped it down. It was real stiff, so they had to strap it around. The man who passed away was into rigor mortis. They had to strap him in and hold him down on the horse. And I asked him, I says, you guys going to be able to get off the mountain? Are the horses going to be able to see where they're going? They go, yeah, horses can naturally see where they're going on trails, so it's no big deal. But anyway, they tied it down, and then we were sitting around in a circle with the sheriff's posse and the man his brother had died, and we were talking to him. I says, how you doing? He goes, I'm not doing very good. I says, can you tell me what happened? He goes, yes. Because we were sitting there trying to find out what happened. I still wondered if they had killed the guy, murdered the guy. Anyway, he says, yeah, last year or 2 years ago, I came to this exact spot. I came from Arkansas. Me and my brother always wanted to come here. I came here. I absolutely loved this camping spot. It was amazing, this backpacking trip. So I wanted to bring my brother and his son to see this wonderful Bridger Wilderness in Wyoming. And I says, that's really neat. He goes, and we got here. We hiked in on Sunday. And on Sunday night, we took a nice sleep. And on Monday morning, we woke up, and the river was running really heavy. And my brother and I went up to do some fishing on this little tiny, really rough creek. And, we were there. And all of a sudden, a wind came up. A really strong wind came up. And my brother was standing on the big boulder fishing. And that giant tree that was laying across the river or the stream or the creek, that giant tree, it had to be huge. It was huge. Anyway, all of a sudden this giant wind blew and it just snapped that tree. The tree was old, like it didn't have any, pine needles and stuff on it. It was just old. And it snapped it and it came over and wham, and it hit my brother and smacked him and killed him instantly on that rock. Just the compression of that hitting of that tree on my brother's body just killed him immediately. It was just so shocking that we came from all the way from Arkansas to show him this beautiful mountain. And this tree had stood there for years, hundreds of years. Just happened to blow over at the exact right time where my brother was standing on the boulder and killed him instantly. Wow. I thought they were cutting a small tree down and something had happened, but it was what a freak accident. Accidents that are freak like that do happen. It's just weird. People do get hit by falling trees from time to time in the forest, but what a coincidence. Anyway, he was very sad. We said, what do you want to do with all your equipment? He goes, you guys can have whatever you want. I'm out of here. He just was so sad, and he left. But what I thought at that point was, valuables, our earthly possessions, are really not that important. He left all of it. That man left all their backpacking stuff, their equipment. Earthly possessions were not that important. and he was concerned about his brother's wife and family, and his brother's son who had been there. So wow, what a tragic thing. But anyway, after that, the whole trip we had a great time with the scouts, and it was weird because we were sleeping by other lakes and other rivers, and you could almost there was almost this feeling of Dead Man's Creek. That rushing water in that lake brought back that feeling of that event many times during that backpacking event. But my son and I, I ate fish and he ate other stuff, and we had a great time, and it was a blast going with him. It was a lot of fun, but that was a strange experience.